Hey everyone, this is Jess. Welcome back to my channel. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at absolutely brand new silicone molds, and we're going to see what wicks to choose to go in them based on the wax of your choosing. So whether you choose like a soy pillar wax, a beeswax, a palm wax, a paraffin wax, any of those types, what you're going to want to do first is you need to know what kind of wick to choose and then do some testing. So I'm going to take you through brand new silicone molds and which wick you can choose. All right, you need to actually have wicks to do this, right? So I want to show you when we go through some candle making websites here, different wicks and the sizes and what they mean and what they are. So this is Aussie Candle Supplies. It really doesn't matter which supplier you use to buy your wicks because it's going to be kind of the same. So let's go in and we're going down to candle making, and I want to show you like under their wicks, they've got 15, 17.5, 31, HTP and tea light. Okay, so we're obviously not doing tea lights. Now, what is this? 15, 17, and 31 is the like height, like how big the wick is, long. So if you've got a really long mold, then you might need to choose the 31 centimeter, or like if you're just doing like small ones like I've done, so you can just click on the 15, okay? So now we're here. Okay, they've got a sample pack that says that they have a range of the wicks. It says it's got 19 sizes. So if you don't have a sample pack, I suggest like getting something like this or making your own. Okay, and then let's go down. So here we've got 3.0. This is the smallest size because as we look here, 3.5, 4, they go up in size. So if the size is like the small, skinny container of your mold, like so like the diameter of it, how far it is across. If it's like small, like the ones that I showed you, then you need to choose a small wick. But you're also going to need a variety of different sizes so that you get the correct size for your candle mold. So you need to, just looking at the ACS ones, which are, if you read here, it says our wicks are a flat braid textile grade cotton wick specifically designed for natural waxes, soy and palm. They are coated in a high melt wick, sorry, high wax, wax for stability, and it's manufactured to self-trim. So this means that when the wick is burning, it turns over and then it burns itself, so it doesn't make like a mushroom and make a bunch of smoke and stuff. So it's really clean burning. They say I always use ACSs personally. I love them. But let's say these ones are not available to you for whatever reason, but you can see like they go through sizes. Okay, so like these are very large ones, etc., etc. There's lots of different sizes. So if you've got a huge one, you're going to need the biggest one. Or if you're using like a really hard wax as well, then like a beeswax, you need to wick up, so like get a larger size. They also have CDN wick sampler packs. So CDN wicks are a different type of wick. It says they are a flat braid textile grade cotton wick with special paper filament core. So there's paper in the middle of them, which increases the rigidity of the wick, so which means it stays straighter and enhances burning qualities. Our CDN range is coated in a high melt wick wax for added stability. So it is waxed on the outside, making it stable so you can put it straight in your mold. And it is manufactured in USA. They're also self-trimming, which means that it bends over, and it says here they are specifically designed to bend at the tip into the hottest part of the flame, contributing to a clean burning candle. So the difference between CDN and ACS is that CDN has a paper filament core, which increases the rigidity of the wick so it stays straighter. I also want to just go back up to the top here to the candle making and go down to HTP wicks. Now, HTP wicks, it says they have been specifically braided to give extra strength and stability. The flat braid design and high performance paper fibers throughout makes this wick an excellent choice for natural waxes, including gel. Self-trimming, they are lead-free and come pre-tabbed, which means that they have the little metal part at the end here and are pre-coated, and it tells you the size of the tab. So that's how big the tab is. Pre-coated means they're waxed. So this one is the difference between HDP and CDN is that the flat braid design, it is like extra braided, so it's just more rigid than the CDN. You have to just kind of experiment with all of them to decide what is better for you. I've told you what I use. I use CDN, but that does not mean that it is better than the other ones. It's just what I prefer. So again, here you need to look at the sizes. Here, this is HP 13, 15 centimeters, and then they've got a 31, a 41, a 52. So the bigger they are, then the wider that they can burn. So like as the size increases, the diameter of your candle can increase, and also the harder the wax, the more large of a wick you're going to need. So beeswax needs a larger wick than soy and palm wax needs a larger wick than soy wax. So here the numbers increase, so the size increases as well. So if whatever your supplier you're using doesn't have a sample pack, create your own sample pack by buying a small amount of each size so that you have them at home, and you can do your own testing, because testing is the key to having a successful, safe candle. I want to go to Aroma now. I want to show you what they have. So they have HTP, they have CDN, but they do not have ACS wicks, but they have wood wicks, whereas Aussie Candle Supplies doesn't have wood wicks. Now, wood wicks are only basically good to use in a container. As far as I have ever tried, I have never actually tried to put a wood wick into a silicone candle mold. That doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means I haven't tried. Maybe I'll try in another video. If you want to see me do that, comment below and I'll do the testing so you don't have to. Okay, so let's look at this. Look, they've got an FAQ guide here. So, but let's also look at these different. And let's look at their HTP wicks. So they've got similar sizes. They've got 104, 105, 1212. So they're just different sizes. And I'm looking for a sample pack here. It doesn't appear that they have one. So, for example, if you're going to buy these from Aroma, what you'll need to do is you're going to need to make your own sample pack by ordering packs of 20. And I really suggest that you do this and you have a large amount of sample wicks of every size that you're creating. Also, CDN ones, you can see that they're 10, which is the small wicks, 12, 14, and onwards. Also, they do not have a sample pack, so if you find a supplier like this, look, here's CDN 7 and 8. They kind of have them out of order. So here's a 4, 5, 6, a 3. So you got to also watch that, because you think that it starts at 10 when really there's even smaller sizes down here. So look around and definitely order a small pack, because this would be the smallest wick size. And it gives you the choice of the length, so you can get tea light ones or larger ones. And you can also order wick tab sizes. So like that means how wide do you want the metal part? Do you want it large or smaller? And when you're making silicone candles, you don't like silicone molds, you don't need to worry about the wick. But if you're making the wick tab, I should say, but if you're making container candles, you need to worry about the wick tab. It's very important for sticking the wick into the base of the candle jar so that it stays straight. So here it tells you, this is very interesting, they tell you what the HTP equivalent is, and they say what it's suitable for. So this one says it's suitable for 51 millimeters, so that's 5.1 centimeter round molds. Okay, that's great that they give you this information right here, but it doesn't tell you what wax you're using, and it doesn't tell you how much fragrance you're you're adding to it. And those two factors make a huge difference in the suitability of the wick for the candle mold or the candle container, because both are simultaneously the same. If you choose a harder wax like palm wax, paraffin wax, or beeswax, you're going to need to use a different wick than what you were going to use for soy wax, because the low melt temperature on soy wax means that you don't need such a large wick. And also the amount of fragrance you're putting in. Are you using 5% fragrance? Or are you using 10% fragrance? Because it also impacts your wick. So be really careful about what they say is the set is suitable for, because you can't take their word for it. You have to do your own testing, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So just stick around. It also says a note that the performance of your candle is based on a variety of different variables like wax, color, fragrance, container size, and more. They say to do your own testing. You have to do your own testing to ensure consistent results. That's the key word, consistent results, because you can't make willy-nilly throw a wick in a candle and expect it to work properly. It doesn't work that way if you're looking to be a professional candle maker. Okay, I'm going to go now and show you how to actually wick up a mold and test it. You've got your brand new molds in the packages still, so let's open it up and take a look at it. So this one is a sheep. You probably, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the head's there. And I'm going to want the candle wick to come out about here in the back. So I don't want its head to have the candle wick sticking straight out of it. And if I was going to look like centered on it, it's about there. So I need to think, but where on the sheep's back do I want the wick to come out? So I kind of want it to come out above its head, centered on its back. So I'm going to take my wick scissors and I'm going to poke a hole. Don't be afraid to do this in my mold, straight out there. Twisting a little bit. So when I insert my wick now, it's going to go through that hole there. So yes, poke a hole in your brand new silicone mold when you've made it so that you can fit your wick through it. Now, which wick to choose? So these are finished candles and you can see they're rather small. So this one is tall and skinny, so I used ACS3 for the smallest wick for this candle, and I did the same for this one. Now they're not going to burn like slowly because these are really small candles. They're more like decorative candles, so sometimes we can't make even the smallest candles last for a long time because the wicks just are not made small enough. So even with the smallest wick on the market, it's not the correct, like you can't really make it perfectly. Whereas this one, you have more of a chance because it's like a wider diameter than this one. You can see there. So if I was to make this one, I would start with trying a few different wicks. I would try with the ACS3, I would try with a 4, and I would try with a 5. And then I would make 3 separate candles and test them. I'm going to take you to the computer now, and that's the same thing as what I would do with this one. I need to make this one 2 or 3 or maybe 4 times with different wick sizes to see what is the best one for this candle mold. And the only way to do this is creation and testing. And I'm going to show you how you can keep track of that at the computer now. Okay, on your computer, you can go to docs.google.com to get a spreadsheet like this. You don't have to pay for Excel. And on your brand new spreadsheet here, you can create a document kind of thing to make your own tracker for your scents. So the first thing you're going to want to know is what is your mold. And then you're going to want to know what fragrance you used, the percentage of fragrance, because it makes a difference if you use 7% or 10% the wax that you used. And you're also going to want to know the wicks. And did you use any dye? Okay, so these are the main things that we're going to need to track when we are making, like when we're testing candles. So this should be pretty straightforward. So in this one, I would say I'm using the large sheep mold. This is for yourself, so you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to use pretend like vanilla, and I'm going to say I used a 7% fragrance, and I used maybe I used crystal palm wax, and then I used 4.0 ACS, and then I used brown or something like that. And then I would do this again, large, and then, oh, one thing, can't forget this, the result. The result, you need to keep track of the result. So after you have, you know, like got everything here, you know, you just say, I'm going to do this again. It's at 7%. It's, you know, you just do the same thing and go again. And then here you maybe I used a 5.0 and then I use brown. So then when I'm testing now, I can I can write down my results. So like, how did it go here? So we might need to make these like a little bit bigger so that we have some room to write or whatever, but this is a spreadsheet. So the great thing is that you can just move things around as you need. You could print this off for yourself, or you can just like have a spreadsheet on your computer here, and you can just go like mold testing, and then every time that you need to you know, check it out and write some information down, you just go to this spreadsheet, mold testing, and then you're good to go. So make something like this for yourself on Google Docs. This is how you wick up a silicone candle mold. So you've got your mold, you need your wick, you need a wood skewer stick, and then you need some of this sticky blue tack stuff that they use to stick things to the wall back, you know, in school and stuff like that. So this is what you do. You've had your hole put into it that I showed you how to do earlier. So in a new mold, this is going to be tricky to get through. You got to find the hole again and stick the wick through the hole. And if it doesn't go through, like mine's having trouble, just go from this side here and just make the hole a little bit bigger. Okay, now let's try again. Take the wick, stick it through the mold, push it through, okay? Go to the other side and pull it through like this. Watching this end here that you're not pulling it all the way out. Leave a tail like that. There's plenty on this side, so leave a longer tail. Fold this over, the wick over like that, so it's flush to the mold. Take your blue tack, stick it onto here, and then when you're going to put it down, you're going to push with your two fingers like this and push the mold onto the table so it's steady. Then you'll take your skewer stick and you put it across the top of the mold and you wrap the wick around the skewer stick like this and pull it tight, but not pulling too hard that you pull the whole wick out, but just tight so it's not going to move. And then you can adjust the skewer stick like that so that the wick appears center, as center as you possibly can get it. If you want to be super technical, you could measure it, but you don't really need to. You can eyeball it the best of your ability. And then the tail, it's best if it sticks off to the side of the mold like that, because then as it the wax starts to pour in there, sometimes the wick can get like kind of weak, and if it's onto the side there, it's less likely to move around. Okay, my wax is hardened here. I am taking off my skewer stick, and I have never unmolded this mold before. This is the very first time, and I'm doing it for you now. So I want to make sure that my wick is going to come out straight. And what I'm going to do is I got to pull away the mold from the sides before anything else. So I'm just going to grab it like this and pull it away from the sides. And I'm going to do this all the way around the candle to try to get all the little details out nicely instead of just ripping them off. So you don't want to just grab it and start tearing it like this. You want to pull it away from the side of the candle first. And you can see it has really nice little details. Now what I'm going to do is take my thumbs on either side, take my fingers at the bottom, and I'm going to push the candle out, lift it with my thumbs like that, and I need to make sure that I'm not going to rip this wick out, so you got to do it kind of carefully so that you get this really cute little candle. Look at that. I love it. A fat little sheep. I don't like soy pillar blends for another reason, because of the temperature of that the wax melts at. I think it is too low, and what I mean is the melt point is too low. And when it gets to be summertime, if you're sending your candles all over Australia, you need to realize that it is hot in certain places of Australia, quite hot all the time. I used to live up north in the Pilbara of Western Australia, and it got to be very hot all the time. Wintertime was always over 30 degrees during the day, and that heats up in packages. So I don't actually recommend you using pure soy pillar blends on its own. You need to mix them so that you can service customers all over Australia and that their candles arrive looking exactly like this, rather than a melted little mess in the package, which will lead to disappointments. What you need to do now is you need to take your candle that you've been making and make 3 sizes of different wicks. If you don't know where on earth to start with your wicks, what I recommend is you start at the smallest wick size and then wick up 1 size and then wick up again 1 size. It's a lot easier to start low and work your way up than it is to start high and then try to figure out where you are at down, because a large wick will just simply make huge flame and melt the wax super fast, and you won't actually have any accurate representation of how the candle should burn. So start small and work your way up. So if you're doing ACS, do ACS 3, ACS 4, and ACS 5, or if you think that's too much, do ACS 3.0, 3.5, and 4. So make 3 candles of the exact same candle with 3 different wick sizes. And then in the next video, I will show you how to test and choose wick sizes for your pillar candles. Okay, so I'm going to put that here in the next little screen. And if this was helpful for you, give me a thumbs up. Any questions, leave them below and I'll answer them. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.